This hour brought to you by GCNLife.com. Live younger, look younger, feel younger at GCNLife.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on the Saturday, March 2nd. Always excited that you took time on the Saturday morning to tune in. We have an interesting show for you, as we always do. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I've been doing this a good part of 40 years as an analyst on Wall Street in Chicago, floor trader on the old Chicago board, or the current Chicago Board Options Exchange. I worked with Louis Rukeyser on his great TV show, Paul Kangas on Nightly Business Report, and author of my own newsletter. Best way to reach it is vrtrader.com, where we cover everything from gold to cannabis through cryptocurrencies. Meanwhile, here at Wall Street Raw, as I mentioned, we do our best to bring on a whole line of very interesting and provocative guests. And the show this week, we have Sinclair No joining us, Harry Boxer joining us, Don Violo joining us, Ralph Case joining us. So it's a jam-packed show. But first, a very special guest is on the line with us right now, Henry Weingarten from afund.com. Good morning, Harry.
We're doing it alphabetically today. That's good.
Yeah, it's purely by accident.
I understand.
Thank you, Henry.
You're welcome. The most interesting thing is what gold is doing. You may recall that in our year forecast, we said that gold would be up through part of February and then to be selling May and June gold and then to be buying December gold. And here we have it. You know, most people thought it was going to hit above the 1350 level and take out the highs, and of course they're not, for both seasonal and astrological reasons. Logically, if you look at it fundamentally, gold should be much higher. It's worth 1372. But for all sorts of reasons, both seasonally and astrologically, it's not. So for the next 3 months, it's going to be under attack. It may be going up again, but it's going to be attacked more than it should. And then as we get to May and June, you basically, actually June, you want to start buying December gold, because gold will take out the highs of this year, certainly, in December. So if you're a trader, that's very important. If you're an investor, don't worry about it if you own some good stocks. But if gold for some reason breaks 1,300 down to, say, 1,250 as opposed to 1,280, then you certainly want to be buying it again, even if there's some negative astrology and seasonals, because it's just absurd, and it will be closer to 1372 and 1400 as we get to the end of the year. So that's the most important thing. I'm off to PDAC, which is 25,000 colleagues in Toronto, where it's nice and cold, 10 degrees at night. And we're only going there because it's the largest in the world group of people in the mining industry, so I expect to find a lot of good companies, as well as companies that I know. So that's the main thing. Everything else is sort of on target. The bonds have moved sort of closer to where they belong. I mean, they'll go a little higher. And I think everyone's totally misinterpreting Trump at the moment.
Well, your work said that the first half of the year might be a little choppy for both him and the market, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, all these attacks and so forth are just beyond absurd. I mean, what? But I could get into that.
Without basis, Henry. It's noise in the media. That's really what it is.
Well, it's propaganda. Right. Unfortunately, we are so much like what happened in the old days in Soviet Russia and other places. It's amazing. If you don't agree 100% with people, 100%, then there's something wrong with you, and that's very scary.
Listen,
anyway, even the politics aside.
Okay, I experienced this in my own family, so I know what you're talking about. Believe me.
We have all that because we all can fight about it. The main issue is there's too much tribalism. If anyone's intelligent on either side, they know that the people are dividing people, and they should be uniting people, and that's the real sadness on both sides to some extent. And it doesn't matter what your views are, it's a question of what's real. And someone said something very interesting, maybe it was on your show, is that all the Democrats are sort of like they're on a plane and they're hoping the pilot's going to crash.
Right.
And that's exactly what the Democrats are hoping for. That Trump fails here, Trump fails there. And, you don't want to fail with North Korea, you don't want to fail with China, you don't want to fail. If we're all in the same boat, or in this case a plane, which is more of a scary view, and you don't want that. Or the Titanic when they made some mistakes. I saw the movie there again later, and it was partially because of mistakes of the captain, but you don't want the captain to make mistakes. You want him to succeed. You want him to arrive. Anyway, the main thing is things are basically okay. They're going to be rough, as you said, for 6 months. They're certainly going to be better afterwards. May is going to be a real problem. You really have to protect for that. And I think the markets are more likely to go to 26.5 and up because I think there will be an agreement, although it may not be a real agreement with the Chinese in the next month. If there isn't, of course, then we look out below, and we'll see. But generally speaking, if you're an investor and you don't care and you're a long-term player, you're safe. If you're a trader, you want to be, as I said last time, very short horizons or very long horizons.
Let's back up a second to PDAC, because I know you said you're going, and we discussed this briefly last week, but the gold shares tend to peak out historically as we approach PDAC or at PDAC. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense, looking for a pullback. It's like all the enthusiasm runs into PDAC and then it sort of fades. So it's all sort of fits in.
And also, you remember, you finished with the Chinese New Year buying, you finished with the Indian buying in December. So there are a lot of fundamental reasons in jewelry, et cetera, that you're done with it. And then you've got a long time. But, of course, the craziness is that gold's worth a lot more.
Right.
It's an insane situation, and nobody's really selling physical gold. This is all future stuff. I'm not a conspiracy person at all. But the point is, it's all done. This is not real sales of gold. Maybe Venezuela is selling, in a few places like that. But basically speaking, people are buying. They're not selling. They're actual stuff. So this is all paper trades, and it gives you an opportunity to own it. I'm not crazy. I don't think we're going to 1,500. I don't think we're going to 2,000 or 5,000, but I definitely think we're going higher. And it's a good, solid investment. But copper is another one, too, and copper is doing actually a little better. And that will even be stronger. So the commodities, along with healthcare, are two good places to be in 2019.
Do you have one particular or a couple names besides a Freeport McMoran that you would look at in copper, Henry?
Well, I like Trilogy, which is a client of ours. I mean, not client, it used to be a client way back. They're sort of a play like they're an option on copper. And there's some others that are a little bit more there, but I think that one's pretty far along. It did a double since last year, and we expect at least another 50% or another double again.
What's the symbol on Trilogy? What's the symbol?
Oh, God, I have to look it up because it's both Canada and U.S. Trilogy metals. That's one easy one. That's a long-term play. You've got to be holding that a year and a half to get your 50% to a double. It won't be next week, but you'll get it. You'll definitely get it. I think.
Okay. Well, copper ETFs are another way to go, too. So I have a couple of those on my list. Right. Yeah,
that'll be a very simple way to play it. And, remember, once we solve something with China, if we do, and then, because, again, the only two things that there's any agreement between Democrats and Republicans, and one of them is infrastructure. They argue about who pays for it, but they do agree for the need for it. So there should be a fair amount of money going into it. And India is growing, et cetera. A lot of good fundamental reasons.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Henry Weingarten from afund.com. Always a pleasure having Henry on the show, and we get some great insights here. So have a great weekend, Henry, and we'll talk this time next week.
You got it. If I don't freeze to death upstate.
Okay.
But I don't think I will.
Bring an extra warm coat. Take care. Henry Weingarten. Folks, stay with us. We've got Don Violo, Harry Boxer, Sinclair No, and Ralph Case all ahead here on Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovitz. Go to wallstreetradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us.
800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. 800-213-9264. Call right now before it's too late. 800-213-9264.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at GCNlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that, too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Keep the change. Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovitz, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovitz.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, March 2nd, and our good friend Harry Boxer is with us this morning. Harry, I want to thank you again for taking some time here on a Saturday morning. What's moving? What's moving this week?
Well, some of the biotechs that we follow are doing great. even the marijuana stocks, I put out a swing on CRON. I currently have one on CGC. I'm looking at these charts, and I'm thinking the upside potential is unbelievable. I mean, you can see CGC, if you get to 55-60 range in the 70-80 zone. And this Cron has gone from like 5 or 6 up into the 20s and it's pulled back, but I think the stock could be 30 to 5, even 40 if they get a blow-off type stage in the marijuana stocks. That may occur, but don't be surprised if it does. But do you remember 2 weeks ago when I was on, I gave you 2 low-price stocks I thought had great potential, both fundamentally and technically. And that was Digital Turbine Apps. And that one's gone from $1.15 to $3.50. And I think it's got potential for 5 or 6 in the next couple of months. The other one was Copen, which did have a little pop, and now it's pulled back. And I think the stock is a screaming buy here at $1.50. You may see $3 or $4 in the next 60 days, in my opinion.
That's KOPN. That's KOPN.
Right, that's KOPN. In the biotech sector, I forgot to mention that I put a swing on Clovis at 26, and it ran up to 32 already. That stock looks like it's going back to near 40. And then there is BE, which is an energy company. I think it's called Best. Let me hang on a sec. BE is the Bloom Energy, looking great today. For example, it popped a wedge and it's breaking out again. It's now up another $1.35 or 9.2% on over $1 million traded. I think that one's headed higher, much higher. If you look at the base on it, the breakout, we're looking at 18, 21, and potentially mid-20s on this one, trading at 15.81 right now.
Harry, one of the strongest groups and continues to be is the solar stocks.
And I've had a swing trade on First Solar for a few weeks now. If you take a look at First Solar, it's the leader in the industry by far in terms of revenue side. I mean, we did so good with the stock when it broke out in 2017 around 37 and ran it all the way up to 82. Then it came down from the base and broke out again, so I put it out again in that, I think it was 47.8 zone. It's trading at 53, and I think this has the ability to be back into the at least 63, 65 zone sometime in the next few weeks. So there's a couple, that, and I like JK Solar, and I also like, in that group, CSIQ. That's Canadian Solar. Those are the 3 I'm focusing on right now as industry leaders, in my opinion.
Harry, I want to thank you for joining us. I know you got to get back to your live intraday webinar. Real briefly, our listeners can get a 2-week free trial at thetechtrader.com, correct?
At all times, without any credit card, just sign up and come in for a couple of weeks. Most people tell us they make a year's worth of subscription for 2 free weeks of trials, and then they're good for the rest of the year. So it's a no-brainer. Just sign up, come in, make some money, and log on every day.
It's fun. I watch it myself, so it's one of the greatest services out there. Harry Boxer from thetechtrader.com. Have a great weekend, Harry, and thank you for squeezing us in.
Anytime, any Friday. Bye-bye.
Take care. And with us now is our good friend Don Violo from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Good morning, Don. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Mark.
Okay. The bear market rally, I guess they're still calling it a bear market rally, stalled last week, huh?
Yeah, it did. Major U.S. equity indices found resistance at levels set in early November. Now, short-term momentum indicators, including daily stochastics, RSI, and MACD, turned down. Sectors showing the weakest momentum indicators were risk-on sectors, including materials, industrials, financials, and consumer discretionary.
Precious metals started to show some technical weakness, but that's not surprising considering the time of year, right?
Yes, precious metals did start to move lower. The gold equity ETFs generally dropped by about 4%. The gold ETN, the symbol being GLD, moved below support on Friday, below the 123 level. Now, the precious metals seasonal trade from early December to late February was nicely profitable this year. The gold ETF, the symbol being GDX, gained 17%, and the junior gold ETF, symbol GDXJ, advanced 21%. The period of seasonal strength normally ends this week. This year, the period of seasonal strength ended slightly earlier than usual.
Cannabis stocks regained some momentum too, Don.
Yeah, they did. It was just the symbol up here for the ETF is HMMJ. That ETF gained about 4% last week. Another well-known personality joined the marketing parade on cannabis last week. Martha Stewart agreed to become a consultant to Canopy Growth.
Yeah, that's a big winner, that company. It's getting colder up there in Canada and everywhere this year. It's affecting stocks.
Yeah, it's colder than normal out there this year, particularly up here in Canada. More natural gas is needed in the northern half of the United States and all of Canada to keep us warm until spring. Now, last week, natural gas inventories at this time of year in the lower 48 states reached their lowest level in 5 years. In the U.S., natural gas futures completed a short-term double-bottom pattern on a move above the 274 per BTU level. In Canada, listen to this, the price of Alberta natural gas surged from $1.51 in mid-January to $3.58 at the end of February, more than doubled. Oil and gas producer stocks with a focus on natural gas production are acting well on the charts. Nice breakout by Encana on Thursday above a base building pattern. Seasonal influences for natural gas and gassy stocks are positive from mid-February to mid-June. Other ways for U.S. investors to play the seasonal trade include the natural gas ETN, the symbol is UNG, and the natural gas producer ETF, symbol being FCG.
Don, we have about 30 seconds here. Let's back up a little bit on the overall market. So let's talk a little bit about this bear market rally. Your overall model for the year is positive, however, so let's give our listeners some perspective there.
Yeah, let me give them some hope as well. Not all markets are going down. In fact, far from it. The bright spot last week was China. The Shanghai Composite Index gained 7% in anticipation of a trade deal between China and the United States. So the key is that when you're in the equity markets, it's not necessarily the U.S. market or even the Canadian market that you can look at. There are other markets that do very well as well. And good idea to check them all out.
Okay, great. Always a pleasure having Don with us. Don Violo from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. I really appreciate all the great insight here covering precious metals, cannabis, the overall market, and of course natural gas. We'll speak to you next week, Don. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
That was Don Violo. Well, stay with us, folks. We're going to have Ralph Case with us on the show today. A couple interviews with Harry Boxer and of course, Sinclair No.
WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
USA Radio News with Wendy King.
The parents of the American student who died after being released from North Korean captivity say that Kim Jong-un and his regime are responsible for the death of their son. The Warm Bears issued a statement after President Trump spoke about it at his second summit in Vietnam with Kim. The president tweeted, "I never like being misinterpreted, but especially when it comes to Otto Warmbier and his great family. Of course I hold North Korea responsible for Otto's mistreatment and death." Striking teachers in Oakland, California have reached a deal to end a 7-day walkout Union President Keith Brown says the settlement includes an 11% salary increase and a one-time 3% bonus on ratification.
Experienced teachers will now be able to stay in the classroom. We forced the Oakland Unified School District to invest in our teachers in Oakland.
You're listening to USA Radio News.
Ask yourself, if you built a van for your business, where would you start? At the beginning, of course. With the people who invented the work van over 100 years ago, Mercedes-Benz. You'd give your new Mercedes-Benz Sprinter advanced technology and safety to keep you connected and protected. You'd make it available in diesel and gas, and there would be thousands of configurations and upfits to choose from. You build it right here in the USA, because your one-of-a-kind business deserves nothing less than a van that's built for you. Introducing the all-new Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. The safest, most innovative Sprinter yet, starting at just $33,790. Built for you, the all-new Sprinter, built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz, vans, born to run.
MSRP excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Equipment described as optional. 2019 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter available soon.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how did it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. And as we always try to do on this segment is bring our good friend Sinclair No in from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com. Good morning, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
With some interesting stuff going on this week. The Fed, for example, put the markets on notice that the needs for rate patience. Why don't you try to define that for me? What is the Fed trying to tell us here? That they really don't want to raise
rates? Oh, you want me to define it?
Okay. Maybe you can interpret it for me. I don't know.
I think Chairman Powell and all the other policymakers are trying to do that exact same thing, trying to define what patience looks like and how much of it will be required. And the simple point is I don't think we know at this point how much patience is required. We do know, though, that the Federal Reserve is looking at the economy and they're a bit more cautious about quantitative tightening or raising interest rates any higher. We may have reached that point where we've plateaued in the Fed's cycle, and that's okay, I suppose. The economy is in good shape, but it's slowing down a little bit. That's what we're seeing from the Fed. I think that's what the patience is about, to see if we can work through this I won't really say rough spot, because it's not. It's the economy, as I say, is pretty good. Just not quite as strong as perhaps some people did, although stronger than what we've seen in a while. You got to remember, GDP for the fourth quarter came in at 2.6%. They did a revision, I think, Thursday. Came in at 2.6%, which put for the year GDP growth at 2.9%. Now, that's as good as we've seen since 2015.
Wow.
The economy is strong, but it's slowing down slightly from what we saw earlier in the year. First half of last year was stronger than the second half of last year, and the fear is that with the impact of the tax cuts starting to fade, was that just a sugar high for the economy? What's going on there?
So do you think the Fed's leaving room to even lower interest rates if things turn sour mid-year, or the economy does, or the stock market takes a downturn? What do you think?
I don't think that they're going to be lowering rates at this point, and if they get to a situation where they need to lower rates, they need to stimulate the economy, they could lower rates, but not too much.
Right.
And we're still at historically low levels. But yeah, they could lower it a little bit. Now, keep in mind, they also have their balance sheet that they're dealing with, which they've been letting securities roll off of their balance sheet. And this is happening at the exact same time that we still have ongoing trade tensions with China. China is letting treasuries roll off of their balance sheet as well. So China, we know, the largest holder of U.S. debt, U.S. government debt, and they've been selling lately. They're not buying right now.
Very interesting story this week, Sinclair, where Janet Yellen delivered the hardest criticism of Trump yet. And basically she said he has very little grasp of macroeconomic policy. What are your thoughts about that criticism? I thought that was really a little bit out of the blue.
A little bit out of the blue, but I would have to say that Yellen would be the one who could talk about something like that. Whether there is something going on, maybe she just doesn't feel comfortable discussing macroeconomics with him. I don't know. But quite frankly, Yellen could probably say that about a lot of people, that they don't understand macroeconomics as well as she does. And she does. It's not like I'm a huge fan of the Fed, but Yellen is an intelligent. There's no question about that. I don't know why she felt the need to talk about this week, but she did. A lot of other stuff going on this week, though.
Okay. What's your pleasure?
Well, let's talk a little bit about China, which, we've been looking at a March 1st deadline. That's been extended out, but we haven't really seen too much taking place. Every now and then we hear that negotiations are going very well, everything is beautiful. Then the next day, negotiations aren't turning into anything positive at all. So I don't really know what they're looking at in that regard. But they haven't worked out a deal with China yet. And this is an issue. This is probably the largest global issue that we have right now in the economy.
Right, and we just had the disappointing meeting in Vietnam with North and South Korea too. So it hasn't been a upbeat week on the political side there for Trump at all.
Yeah, not at all. The markets were down a bit this week after what had been a very strong February. Very good month.
Sinclair, I know you've got to get on to a broadcast this morning, and we have a couple guests sitting here in the green room anxious to get on, so I'm going to let you go a little early this week, but I really appreciate those insights, and have a great weekend, and we'll have a little more time next week, and we'll go into more detail. So thank you for joining us. Sinclair No from KFNN 1510, and author of the great blog, EatTheBankers.com. Have a great weekend, Sinclair, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark.
On the line is our good friend Harry Boxer from the TechTrader.com. Harry couldn't be with us last week, and we want to certainly make up for that. Good morning, Harry. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, and don't let it happen again.
I will try not to. Thank you. So markets started strong, well, on Friday, and they started to give up some gains, but we're taping this interview on Friday, so a little mixed market here.
Well, look, I think this pullback we're getting today after the big gap up, they fill the gaps, and now they're starting to snap back. I would not be surprised to see the market close solidly again. And again, your former guest just said something which kind of surprised me, because today they announced that the State Department is drawing up a trade agreement. And that's why I thought the market popped. I mean, if they're drawing up an agreement, they must have some parameters they've already agreed on. So I'm not going to talk fundamentals. I'm a technical analyst. The bottom line is the market is due for a pullback, and I've been saying that for 3 weeks. The trend is your friend, and the market always goes further than you think it's going to go. And the shorts are getting their ass kicked, and I think until they squeeze out some more, they're not going to roll this market over yet. Not yet is a big yet. But one of the things, and I'm going to emphasize this to you, Mark, that completely stands out to me as a technical analyst. Every day I do a video called the Charts of the Day video where I post 15 or 20 charts. Every day I'm getting 15 or 20 more stocks making important technical breakouts. If you look at the NASDAQ 100 generals, from Apple to even Facebook, which looked terrible for a while, and Microsoft, and on and on and on, they're all, and you look at the biotech index, the LABU, and you look at the SMH, the technical patterns of breakouts, not breakdowns. They're not showing me that these things want to roll over, at least not anytime soon.
Harry, can you stay with us through the break, or you have to get back to the website? No. Okay, so Harry will stay with us, and we'll take a short break here. Stay with us here on Wall Street Raw.
Are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA? Or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Many people believe they don't control their own destiny. Let them continue just getting by while you make the choice to do something about your future. Imagine working from home, earning the income you deserve. Just visit StartLivingYoung.com and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Discover Juness, a state-of-the-art global health company with over $1 billion a year in sales. They'll provide all the tools you need to succeed. Visit StartLivingYoung.com today and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Your destiny awaits at StartLivingYoung.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Standing up for what's right, helping out when things go wrong, seeking the truth and speaking our minds, not just making records, but breaking them, leading the way behind the camera, beyond the runway, and on the silver screen. Not just making our mark, but making a difference. Now that's a job for a Girl Scout. Girl Scouts, preparing girls for a lifetime of leadership.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovitz. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw, and our very good friend Ralph Case is again with us, a new sponsor of the program, and I'm an investor along with Ralph in many of the properties, or some of the properties that we talk about. Ralph's president of the Real Estate Action Group and Jurock Case Investment Realty. He's been a licensed realtor and real estate investor for over 30 years. He's been a speaker at real estate investment conferences. I attended a couple of those. He's a great speaker. And he's an author in the books Real Estate Action 2.0, and the bestseller Trendsetters. So in the last 12 years, he has bought and sold over 3,000 residential units. We're talking like multifamily apartments, either individually or with his joint venture partners. And he works with Western Wealth Capital up in Vancouver, British Columbia. Good morning, Ralph. Thank you again for joining us.
Good morning, Mark.
Well, today's the big day. We talked about this in the last 3 weeks, the Discovery Tour here in Phoenix and Scottsdale. So if you folks are listening and you're within driving distance of Scottsdale, Arizona, this Saturday morning, March 2nd, at the Marriott Courtyard, you should be there in Old Town, because you could, if you can't get on the bus, you could follow the bus and watch some of what Western Wealth Capital has been doing, Ralph. And unfortunately, you won't be there, Ralph, huh?
Well, we filled up the bus. Our investor relations person, Julianne Booker, is going to be there. And the format is from 12:30 to 3:30, we're having an information section at the Marriott and lunch. And then we're going to hop on the bus at 3:30 and go for about 2 hours and look at a number of the properties that we have done in the past, just to give an idea of how the program works and see some real nuts and bolts results that we've achieved. And so I wouldn't, if your listeners are living in Phoenix, by all means, send us an email or a phone call, and we'll put your name down and you can come join us. And you'll get a ton of information, because you'll learn from our property managers, you'll learn from our acquisition team, and also from our investor relations people about, just the track record and, the kind of results that we've been seeing. And those results have been somewhere around a 25% annualized return. What we've been doing is buying multifamily buildings with approximately 25 to 30% down payment, and you get a lender to give you the balance. And, of course, you buy them such that they cash flow. So every year the cash flow is somewhere around 7% has been the average. And then we put our program into place. And what our program is to increase the rents up to market rents. Sometimes landlords have buildings and, it's easy to keep the rents low because it stays full. But We optimize the rents. We try and reduce expenses just by sort of cost efficiencies because we have a big team and our costs are lower, and sometimes we identify things that are being spent that shouldn't be spent. And then we do proactive things like put in washer dryers. The latest deal that we're doing in Houston has 244 units, and they have hookups for washer dryers. But if we ask the tenants to put in a washer dryer, we charge them an extra $50 a month, and we can increase the net operating income by $87,000 by doing that, and that increases the value of the building by $1.5 million. So it's a significant increase. So anyway, back to my point is we put 25 to 30% down, and we usually get a 25 to 30% increase in the value of the building through this program of reducing expenses, increasing the rents, washer dryers. And so what that means, because of the leverage, is we're just about getting a doubling of the investors' equity. So over a period of 3 to 5 years, we're looking at annualized returns of about 25%, which is pretty nice. And I know, Mark, you've invested in some, and I invest them. And, we've seen the results. It's pretty good. They do what they say they do.
Great track record, particularly here in Arizona.
Yeah. It's been a great market in Arizona, and it's been booming, actually. So it's harder and harder to find deals in Arizona. So what we've been doing is branching out to other markets that we think have the same sort of potential, because obviously we don't want to overpay on the acquisition end of it. We want to get a good value for the client. So we've been finding good deals. In addition to Phoenix, we bought in San Antonio, in Houston, in Dallas. We like Texas because it's got very similar rental laws to Arizona, like it's very landlord-friendly. And then we branched out to Atlanta and bought 2 properties in Atlanta as well. So we're looking at cities that have job growth, good economic fundamentals. We don't want to go with some city that's going to be, bouncing up and down and up and down. The beauty of our program is the market doesn't really have to go up. Like in Phoenix, the cap rate, which is the measure of the value of a building, has been about a 6% return. And it's been steady like that for the last number of years. So we will buy a building at a 6% return and sell it at a 6% return. But by increasing the net operating income, the value of the building goes way up, even though the market's more or less flat. We've actually been lucky because it has gone down a little bit. I think if you were to shop for a building now in Phoenix, you'd probably have to look for something in a 5.5% to 5% cap for a good building. So that has helped us because that just means we get more bang for our buck every time we increase the rent and that net operating income.
Investors have to be accredited investors to get involved in these projects, correct?
Yes, you have to be an accredited investor. The framework is a limited partnership, so you have limited partnership shares, and other than the investment you put in, you have no liability other than that. And the target is to turn over a building in 3 to 5 years, and also the target is to increase the value such that we can refinance and get some of your capital back before we even sell the building. Now, this is kind of a cool thing. I know Mark invested in a deal last year, and he got a check out of the blue, and he called me up and said, what's this, Ralph? I didn't at first know what it was either, so I had to do a little searching. But it turns out that they refinanced this particular building, and they sent all the investors a check. So say, they put in, say, $100,000 as an investment to begin with, or $25,000, whatever it was. A chunk came back, and what they had done is they'd gone and refinanced it. So just for easy numbers, say they bought it for $10 million. They did some work on it and brought the value up to $12 million. Well, they go to the bank and they get roughly 75% of that extra $2 million, which is $1,500,000. They return that to the investors. So there's a little bit more of an interest expense than the operating expense, but the investors are happy to get their money back because it reduces their risk. So you've got less skin in the game, but you still have 100% of the ownership share that you had at the beginning. So it doesn't dilute your share of ownership. It just gives you back some of the risk capital that you put in. And the reason they do that is because they feel that it still has a lot of upside. Otherwise, they would just sell it. Like, say they increased the value $2 million, and they thought, well, there's not much more we can do. Well, let's sell it. Give the investors a profit, and let's go find another one. But what they do is maybe a third into the program, refinance it, give the investor some capital back, but keep on charging ahead with increasing the rents, reducing expenses, and the washer dryers.
Ralph, let's get your contact information out there for our listeners.
Okay. So if you want to go on the tour today, give me a quick call or an email. So phone number is 604-833-9540. That's 604-833-9540. Email is easy. It's case, C-A-S-E, .Ralph, R-A-L-P-H, @gmail.com. And if you've heard me last week and you phoned and for some reason you couldn't get a hold of me, please try again. We had a big, sort of a volume of calls, and some people said my mailbox was full, but I think you can still leave a message. Sorry about that. But anyway, try again, and we'll hook you up for the tour today, or we will hook you up for the next one coming up.
Thank you. Ralph Case, and again, case.ralph@gmail.com or 604-833-9540. Have a great weekend, Ralph. Good luck with the tour.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
And we'll be talking to you real soon.
Yes.
Great opportunity, folks, with Ralph Case and Western Wealth Capital, diversification from the stock market, and this is Wall Street Raw, but if you can make money and diversify with some income, why not give it some consideration? And I want to thank all of you again for joining us on this Saturday, March 2nd, and all our great guests for being with us. And each week we close our show, as our old friend Ed Hart used to say on the Financial News Network decades ago, we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Out, Mark Leibovitz. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovitz, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.